This is uh Asna. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Ashna.
Ashna. This is really good. Let's go ahead and open up this one.
Mm.
All right. Yeah. So nice work. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So yeah, you're doing the right thing here. You got your like simple side and your complex side, which is nice. Throwing them in perspective, which is nice. Even doing some of the sort of like paint or something, stain or something coming off the wood, which is very nice. Yeah, all in all, solid work. The wood grain, nice. The wood grain goes all the way through. It's a small thing, but yeah, one area I think that and this is something I noticed with a lot of areas is, or a lot of people's assignments is um there's really sharp transitions here, like we're going this way, then we're going that way. Um, what you might think about is, at least in a few places, softening that out. So realizing that, let me get another brush here. I like this brush, but I want something a little more like this. There we go. Think about a little bit of a bevel to just sort of soften that transition. You can even like chip this bevel up. Maybe a little bit of a notch there, even. Something to kind of show um instead of going up and out at like a complete 90-degree angle, we might go up and then a bit of a 45 and then out like this, right? So we kind of transition around that curve a little bit easier. Um, Not that it's necessary. If you want to create a really, sharp curve, that's fine. Um, I just noticed in some of the drawings, it seems like some people weren't sure about how to do that. Um, and the way you do that with value is you would, well, actually, um, you would either soften this edge a little bit and make it a little irregular, right? So instead of having a hard line there, maybe have a softer transition. Um, Things like this can really help, right? See how that pulls in, that shape pulls in. That kind of shows me that what's happening here is I'm going this way and then this way and then this way again and then this way, right? Let's see if I can draw it another way. I'm going over or forward, over, forward, over, right? It helps create just a little bit more interest and a little bit more softness in that edge. Another way to do this would actually be to put a bit of a highlight here on this edge. What that tells me is that the light is coming from, let me draw this properly. The light is coming from this direction. Probably that direction and down some. So let's, So especially the planes that face upward are going to be catching that light, right? Because if I were to magnify this in a whole bunch, what I'm saying is, oops, color. Right, I'm saying the light is reflecting, it's directly hitting that plane. Right, and then this plane is falling into shadow. And this one is like semi-lit. So that would be one way of handling creating a softer edge. You can literally do it by just going over this edge and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna create a little, make it a little light there. You see how immediately that kind of helps soften, helps pull you over the edge. So that's one thing, but all in all, really nice work. You're getting the design principles down. This one, thickness here, something that I think this one could benefit from is realizing, and I've seen other students do this as well, realizing that everything has thickness to it. So, and I understand I said like simplify things in the back into a shape, and that's probably what you're doing here. You're like, oh, well, I'll make this just like a shape. I won't add thickness to it. But in this case, it's not totally working. Um, it feels to me like this is like made of paper. Um, I would think first about the construction of this thing. So first, and this is very important too. How would this thing be built? They would have planks going, kind of semi-warped, going around this thing. And then those planks sort of overlap an inner section, which is boards going this way. Right? So you got to think about like the whole construction of this thing. And then you want to add some thickness to it. So back here, I might simplify this like you're sort of doing as just a shape. But you got to show me that these planks have volume to them. Everything has volume. So if I were really to do this properly, I would start with my box. I would find my middle, I would pull that up. I would draw my curve, and then I would do the same thing on this side, right? Pull this line back, pull that up, I draw my curve. And then I would start building out of that. I'm like, okay, this will be those boards. This will be the inside. That will go across like this. These are where those boards will be placed. We'll move those back. And then I would go in, I would start busting these up and things like that. So nice work. All in all, it looks really great. Just a few things to remember. Everything has form, or everything has volume. Things like this, like that's great. You have the cylinder here, right? but this also has volume. So as does this. It seems like when you start getting some of these more complex shapes, you start getting a little confused as to what the volume is. But remember, everything is either cylinder, cube, box, or a sphere, or a ribbon. And we'll talk about that here soon. Things like this, these also have volume. We really want to show the structure of these things. And even more than that, we want to exaggerate the structure of these things, which is another thing we're going to talk about today. Right? Like some of this is starting to get a little thin. Like this, it just looks like I can't tell if it's just very thin metal, or if it's you know, or paper or what, it just it needs a little more volume. But so you're getting it here. This is really nice. You're definitely getting the volume. So you're figuring, you got a good idea. Just some things to think about. But nice work.
Thank you, Ron.
You're welcome. Yeah, fantastic. I hope I don't want anyone to take a critique. Me saying that the work's not good. Actually, when I went through all of the work, they all stood out to me as really good. Better than better than I don't know what everybody's level is, but better than I expected. So quite good.
No, this really helped. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Nice, nice. Nice. Doing some bending. Okay, cool. No beat up car. That's fun. Starting to get into some wonk here. There was one that I saw that I wanted to talk about. See, these are nice. Everybody's stuff is nice. Nice. Starting to get the nice shapes there. Oh, very nice. Rishul. Yeah, you're on the right track. This is great. Let's see if I can find the one I was looking at. I can't remember who it was, but I think I downloaded all of these in order. Oh, this is it. This is the one I want to talk about. Very nice. Yeah, you're definitely like this right here. See, I was just talking about that, creating a bit of a bevel, a turning edge. Not everything has to be a 90-degree angle. So that's really nice. These are very nice as well. But I would say, while they're nicely drawn, they can be pushed as far as their design, or having a bit of fun with it is what I would say. Sometimes we get into box drawings, we become little industrial designers, and we want to make the perfect box. And we want our boxes to be, accurate enough, but they should also be fun, especially when we're talking about designing for animation. So something like this, like you're doing it in your planks. Now, what I want you to do is try and do it in your construction. Like, what if, and you might not see it in the reference, and this is why it's important to kind of go beyond the reference. So what if you did, something like this? Maybe we'll pull this one down even a little further. And I'll make a big hole here. I'll pull that one out. And here at the edge, this becomes very important. The silhouette is what gives you the immediate read of what an object is. So the silhouette is key. If you have a good silhouette, you're pretty much there. So how do you get a good silhouette? You have to think about the outside edge. One way to do that is literally to just draw things with a big, just think of just shape, right? Like maybe I start cutting things out of my box. I start thinking about the edge of my box, what goes out already. That's starting to me, that's starting to read as a crate, right? Like if I zoom out, I'm like, oh, it's a crate of some kind. That's all because of the silhouette. So sticky outy things. What can stick out? Could I make these go a little further up? Can I push and pull some things forward and back? So that would be my suggestion for you, is to yeah, just push it a little bit more. Have fun with it. Think about these positive and negative shapes. And do you guys know what that is? A positive shape is all this black area. This would be a positive shape. A negative shape would be this white area. It's the shape between the things you're drawing. Think about that. And be like, oh, well, this will make a nice, interesting shape there. That'll be a nice negative shape there. So that'd be my suggestion, but nice work. Okay.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, you're welcome. Maybe we'll do one more and then we'll move forward. Yeah, this is another example of good drawing. But let's focus on silhouette, especially these books here, like a nice stack of books. That's something that comes up again and again in drawing for animation, is stacks of books, really stacks of anything. But there's certain like tropes that tell you about a character, and one of them is a stack of books. A stack of books communicates this person is like a scholar, or just somewhat obsessed with learning about a particular subject. So if you see a room with stacks of books in it, you're going to be like, oh, this person is he's smart, he's academic, or he's searching for something. Think about Gandalf and like the if you've seen Lord of the Rings, he's like looking for he like leaves Bilbo, he takes the ring and he goes to, I don't know, the Hall of Records or whatever, and he's just sitting in a room surrounded by scrolls, mounds and mounds of scrolls. What that communicates is this guy is searching for something. He's on a quest for knowledge. So stacks of books, which is a common story idea, and so stacks of books show up a lot. But what's happening here is, if I were to, let me just do this here. If I were to just kind of roughly block this guy out in a silhouette, it's hard to tell what I'm looking at. That doesn't immediately, to me, it doesn't read as a stack of books. So how can we fix that? Well, let's see what we can do. Why don't we just work within this shape and see if we can fix it a little bit. Right, this top one that kind of reads as a book. Let me kind of work into that a little bit. I want to get that book read, so let's do this here. Maybe a little break here in this corner. Maybe a little bend there. Maybe even a bookmark shooting out here at the edge, I don't know. But that's starting to read a little bit more as a stack of books. So again, it would take some pushing with it, but silhouette quality is very important. Another thing is this guy right here. Yeah, just remember everything has volume, and when we're talking in animation, sometimes we want to exaggerate that volume. Yeah, and think a little bit about how it would be constructed. Where would the boards be placed? What's on top of what? Because this, they didn't just carve a box out of a solid chunk of wood, right? They used planks to build it. So where are those breaks? What plank butts up against what? Where would the nails be in this scenario? Et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, but nice work. Really nice wonk. I love the perspective. I love the exaggerating you're doing. Getting the nice cylinders. Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Okay.